Hello.
Hello.
I love this image.
Now, I have my favorite, which is I'm such a big fan of children's literature and illustrations, so I'll show you. Oh, this one is my favorite.
Oh, so sweet.
It's
That's
so
actually my my aunt's granddaughter. This was a commission. She had me do two of those, and the second time she brought me out to she paid me more than I was worth, I think, and she um brought me to a seafood restaurant because I like seafood, and she paid for me to have this big dinner, and it was a nice time, and all because of I was drawing this really photogenic portrait. It just screamed, "Illustrate me, paint me."
oh, that's really
It was
funny.
a perfectly timed photograph. My goodness.
I also love the Judy Garland uh, piece. Yeah, that's just really awesome.
I like never do fan art, but like I'll draw her like annually, usually for her birthday.
I love that.
So like the next summer is gonna be a big deal because then she'll be 100, and it's like, I better really pull out all the guns for that one. What's on my schedule for the summer?
How did you do the George Floyd one? Was it based on a photo or did you illustrate it and then?
A photo. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I did cheat a little bit because I had traced over the photo in Photoshop. I did my own coloring.
You cheated? No
Yeah.
way! That's bad.
Yes. No. Yeah, so I will introduce myself, but I'm pretty sure everyone here already knows me. Yeah, so my name is Sky. I am a recent alumni of Massachusetts College of Art and Design, and I graduated with an animation major and a creative writing minor. Let's see, my favorite cartoon, it changes because I really love Pocahontas for its emotive depth, even though it's controversial. But I really love The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, similarly for its emotive depth, but its use of very rough charcoal to create emotion. It's a Japanese anime. So what we can do now is go around the people on the list, and you can just list, your name, your favorite cartoon, and what you hope to get out of this class, because feedback is important too. Yeah, and Amanda, do you want to start?
I'm Amanda. And was I supposed to say my something about myself and then my favorite cartoon?
Yeah, and
Got
what
it.
you
Okay.
out of this class.
Oh, so I'm Amanda. I actually work at UMA as well, education access coordinator. My favorite cartoon. I was just trying to think about that while you were talking. Probably I is silly, but I used to watch Animaniacs like every day after school. So just like really like silly. I like their sketches. It's almost like a comedy sketch show in cartoon form, in my opinion. I like Katie Kaboom because I related to her. Um, yes. I am afraid of drawing, so I'm hoping to like warm up to it a little bit and like get more into it as a hobby.
You're in good hands.
Okay, great.
Osa, do you want to also participate?
My name is Osa Schwab, and I'm Director of Marketing and Education. And what I hope to get out of this class, aside from offering this starting opportunity for Sky, is some kind of hope that I can draw realistically, but that may not be a realistic goal. My favorite cartoon character is one which I'm trying to remember it was a British cartoon of a ballet dancer mouse. Do you guys know what is the name? I just thought it was so fun.
Is it Angelina?
Yes,
Thumbelina?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
a mouse?
Yeah, I think it's a mouse or
Is it Thumbelina or Angelina?
I'm pretty sure
It's Angelina Ballerina.
Angelina
Yeah.
Ballerina. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So that's my favorite
Thank you,
for the
Amanda.
moment. Aside from Snoopy on the Peanuts.
Who doesn't love peanuts? Avion, do you want to go next?
Yes, sure, I can go next. Hey, my name is Avion. I'm an intern at UMA. One of my favorite cartoons. I don't have one favorite, because I love them all.
That's fine.
Well, so Arthur, oh, there's so many. Adventure Time, Rick and Morty, The Loud House,
Yeah.
Gumball. Yeah, there's so many good ones. It's hard to choose, but those are a few of my favorites. What I would love to learn out of this class is how to make my drawings come alive. Yeah.
Absolutely. We can definitely work with that here. Alexandra, do you want to go next? You don't have to if you don't want to.
That's okay. I'm Alexandra. I am also a recent graduate from Mass Art. Me and Sky graduated together. My favorite cartoon, I'd say, I mean, like, I also love a lot of cartoons, but one that comes to mind is Avatar: The Last Airbender. I love that. I love that show. I grew up watching it, and yeah.
I mean, us animation students, don't we like rewatch it annually? Because I know I do.
Yeah, I watch that show about once a year, probably.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so trying to look at my little thing here on the agenda. So I'm gonna ask Osa to put up the slideshow of the process. Start the first one. We're going to.
I
start with-
will, but first I want to hear from Camila.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought I was gonna get away with it.
I couldn't hear you, and I was
Oh
like,
no,
"Oh,
it's okay. I'm Camila. I'm a marketing coordinator at UMA. I think I'm taking this because I really just wanted a different creative outlet than what I usually do, or I usually don't seek a creative outlet. So I thought it would be fun to try something new, even though I can't draw at all. And cartoons. I always like Rocket Power and like a lot of the stuff from that era. I just started rewatching Avatar recently. And then this year I had never really, or the pandemic, I guess, I'd never really like dedicated time to watching anime. But I watched Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer, and I liked them both a lot. And I really, it's just so beautiful to watch, like the level of dedication and just the art in it is insane. And it's just so impressive.
I also.
And I don't think like we have that level of work in American animation in terms of shows. Like I think maybe in movies, like when you look at Pixar or independent animation studios, but TV wise, I don't think we have the same thing. So it's really cool to see how other countries have it.
So I just want to briefly go over what we're here to do today. So what we're going to start with, we're going to be very simple, very accessible to newcomers. We're going to start with a simple human drawing. And we will, go through the steps, and then we'll show each other, if we're comfortable, what we did based on those steps. And I will, go around, give some compliments, something that you could work on, And then we will do the second exercise, which is the same thing, but with an animal character. And then after that, there'll be a very brief homework assignment that I'm going to send for you guys to do, just to try if you wanted to. But we can get started with the slideshow. Can we start with that, Osa? Yes. So part 1, this is just drawing a simple human. Can we go to the next slide? So, first, do you guys have pencil and paper ready or any drawing utensil? Let me know if you don't have it yet. So, what we're gonna do is you can draw along with this particular image, or you can draw your own character based off of these steps. It can go either way. It's very loose. You don't need to do one thing or another. But typically what we do is we try to draw the character's head first. Don't do what I do and try to draw the whole face, because I've done that, and then if the body doesn't work, it just screws the whole thing up. So what you want to do is draw a circle for the head and then draw a line of action. So the general shape that your character is going to take. And standing up, going to be pretty easy depending on the pose you're doing. So start slow, don't rush, and just give me a sign that you're ready to move on when you're done. Okay, anyone object to moving on? Okay, cool. So you want to figure out the general shape of what your character's body will look like. I have a hard time doing this myself. I tend to skip some of these steps sometimes. So don't worry about refining anything yet. So work with ovals or squares or rectangles. And especially if your character is standing upright like here, you can do something simple like just a rectangle for the general shape of the body. You can also draw lines, which I should have done, to differentiate between the collarbone and maybe the end of the torso, or maybe the ankles to lead to the feet. And then you also want to draw out guidelines horizontally and vertically for the face. So here I did what is called a 3/4 view. You could either have profile or straight ahead or back view, but this is more of a nuanced take. So it's 3/4 view, slightly off the distance. So again, you can try whatever you want. And as always, let me know when you're ready to move on. I also want to stress again the importance of the guidelines for the face, because you don't want to run the risk of having very crooked eyes or a crooked nose that's out of proportion. And as far as the mouth goes, you can just draw a line for now, or even a circle if it's open. Make it easy for yourself so you don't have to do a lot of reworking later. Okay, anyone object to moving on? No? Okay, we can go to slide 3. And if you haven't already, make sure that your arms, if they are going to be active, or your legs, if they're going to be active, try to decide what direction you want to use them in. You can start with a line and then draw shapes later. you can also take the time to define hand, not fingers, and the jawline, or where the ear is going to go, or even what shape the hair is going to take place if your character has hair. And again, you can give me an indicator in the chat when you're ready to move forward. Let me know if you're still working. Okay.
I'm having difficulty with the arms. I don't know why.
Okay, we can go for a few more minutes.
But it's okay, we can continue. I'll get it.
At the very end, you can ask me any questions or things that I have not properly explained that maybe you would like more advice on. Shall we move on? Okay. Osa, would you like to bring us to the next slide? Okay, now I believe this part is probably the fun part. So if your character doesn't look exactly the way that you want it to, that is absolutely fine. The fun part is also just styling your character. If you're someone that likes putting clothes on your character and making them look kind of cute, try doing that. And try working with certain facial expressions. You can even practice a few expressions in the corner of the drawing before you settle on one that you'd like to put on the figure, because that's usually what helped me. But yeah, I gave this little one a cute little accessory with his little books and his little glasses, and gave him a cute little expression because it's based off of like a cute little anime artist that I like, that always gave her characters like these elongated teardrop looking eyes when they smile. Also, make sure that your pencil strokes at first are pretty light. So if you make a mistake, it's not going to be quite as difficult to erase. When you are finished, parsing out the form of something, then try to go over it with darker lines to make it stand out. So I'm going to give a quick anecdote while we're drawing. In the future, if we continue with this class idea, I think I'm going to start with the animal first before the human, because I feel as though most people are very more comfortable with drawing like small, cute animals than they are drawing like full-figured humans. And I think I noticed this about myself when I started learning how to draw men for the first time, because drawing men is more difficult than it is for drawing women for most people. And I noticed that giving them that anthro look actually helped me master anatomy without worrying about the weird intricacies of human faces, because animal faces are more pronounced. And when you look at old animation, it's often usually animals mixed with humans, like Mickey Mouse and Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and Felix the Cat and so on. So I feel like animals are usually a good starting point for someone who likes to learn how to draw. Humans are hard mode, animals are easy mode. If you're having trouble, let me know, because I could probably come up with a solution.
What's the trick with hands? Do you just try to like draw the lines to define the fingers first?
Yeah, you can just draw like a rectangle and then like make it taper out in the middle of the box so it looks like fingers, and then draw lines. It doesn't have to be super detailed. This is a beginner's course.
Okay.
And if you can't do it, there's no shame. We can always try again.
What about noses?
What about the nose is tricky for you?
I just don't get how you give it like a shape. How do you make it not look like a bunch of just I keep trying to draw a nose and it just looks like a bunch of dots.
And sometimes maybe that's all it needs. But what you can do, what I like to do, is that stylistically, and this is somewhat outdated, but we'll just go with it for now. Like oftentimes men will have like a slightly downturned, slightly angled line going from the middle of their face. You start at the middle of the eyes and then like just like slope it. Maybe give it a bit of a bump, a bit of a bridge. And for women, if you want a classically feminine look, you want to give it like a very sloping upward nose. Kind of like Elsa and Anna from Frozen, where men's noses are typically turned downward, women's noses are typically turned upward. And if it doesn't look realistic, that's also okay.
If it's what about straightforward? If you're looking at a person like straightforward, how do you?
Sometimes you don't, with noses, people tend to draw the whole thing. And depending on the lighting and normal conditions, you're not going to see the whole thing. So all you will see sometimes are two holes and maybe a little bump at the side. And maybe like a slight little line of suggesting the bridge going from the nostrils to the eyebrow line. It's okay to be vague about it. Like for instance, I brought up Pocahontas. Pocahontas knows when you're looking at her straight forward, it's just two slightly tilted holes. It's not a super detailed nose. But if you want to do a super detailed nose, that's also fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that helped.
No, I did.
And a friendly reminder, you can always.
I have a question. Like mine looks if I have to draw in hands, it's gonna look very disproportional. I don't know.
Say that again.
Oh yeah, I was saying if I have to draw in hand, it looks like it's gonna be very disproportional.
Like, in what way do you mean? Like the size or
I'll show you. Let me try and turn around. Like, can you see? I think I made one side. Because I thought we were supposed to copy like the steps you were showing. I didn't know we were creating our own characters. And so.
Well, that's good too. Like if are you worried about it being about the hand being too small?
Yes.
Well, you know what? This is cartooning. Like it can work. You can. Okay. It can work. Like if it's not exactly what you want it to look like on a page, here's a secret. Most of us will never fully be able to render on the page what's in our head. We just make work with what do. And sometimes it creates great pieces of work that's actually really interesting. So if the hands are too small, that's okay. I think it's really cool what you did, Avion, when maybe you can like have them like wrap around their chest like this, or like a praying motion. Like there are a number of ways you can make that work. So I don't think you did anything wrong here.
Time check. It's now 7:40, just so you know, Sky.
Okay. Do we want to give it like 2 more minutes and then we can move on?
Sounds good to me.
I think we could probably move on now. And if you want to continue polishing it later, you always can. What do you guys think? Any objections?
That's fine by me.
Okay. And this is just to show like the finished products that I made. We won't do color right now since we're working on form. So like as part of your homework assignment, you can possibly send me your finished coloring later. But I want to take this moment to go around and show us our work. Would we like to do that?
Sure. I'll share what I have.
No judgments here. So whoever wants to go can go.
Just adding a finishing touch. Okay, I still don't know what I'm doing with shoes, but here's what I have so far.
Let me look. Oh, very nice. I like it a lot.
Thanks. He's going to like a 70s disco, I think.
I love it. Also, someone said something about their butt being too low. Do not worry
That was
about
me. Is this too low? I raised his butt because it was like down here.
Have you seen anime? The men's torsos are like longer than their arms.
Oh, it's so hard to figure out like the torso and then the legs, and I still feel like now I feel like his torso's short. So
Well, I mean, one of my characters has a very short torso, and it's super hard for me to undo that now. But a good rule of thumb is that a lot of character designers usually say that a character is supposed to be 6 heads tall, typically. So like their size of their head and then 5 more would be the proper length. And even in real life, people's torsos are not the same in length. So if it varies a little bit, it's not going to be a problem. It might even make it more realistic.
it's good to know. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would say that can I see your drawing again?
Oh yes, sure. Still trying to fix it. It's hard to see. Like there's a space.
What the only critique that I could give is that maybe like have the forearm that's bent a little longer, or maybe
I
yeah.
was wondering about that because I wanted it to be on his waist. Should I have just made the torso a little longer and then moved the arm down?
I think next time you should like try to make sure like if you're looking for like a waist rest, make sure that it's around where like the shirt line ends, or even a little below, because some people do that.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think that I didn't map out the waist when I was doing it because I was more concerned with other things. Yeah.
I still do it too. I still forget to map things properly. I did a drawing last night and I regret looking at it because I'm just like, okay, this is not proportional. So
Yeah.
even for like a trained artist, that's still gonna be tricky. So don't worry about it.
All right. Great. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to share?
I can share.
Okay.
So hold on. I drew it on my iPad. So I hope this shows up. Oh my gosh, I don't think it's gonna show up.
I can see it.
Oh,
wow. She's cute. When you hold it closer, I can see it actually a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that looks awesome.
I really love your pose. I really love you have great directionality with like the hair and the skirt, as well as like the realistic movement of the arms. The only critique I want to give is that you have pretty much everything else down pat. I would just say that maybe unless that's what you're going for, maybe try to make I don't know if that's a thumb or if that's another finger, but like maybe make it a little bit longer. But maybe that was intentional because you're also an artist yourself. So that's all I can really offer, really. Everything
Well,
else is very well studied.
It's so fun.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I love
it's like
it.
a sea theme, a little like a subtle, like wavy sea theme. I don't know. Just I like the sea.
Well, you really mastered the line of action that we were talking about, like making sure that everything is flowing in the way the eye is supposed to go.
Oh, I'm glad.
Does anyone else want to
I'll do
show us? Very nice. So, what did you end up doing for the hand, Avion?
Like you said, I put them together.
Okay, that's great. The only thing I could say is, I would think, making, could one arm look to be a little shorter than the other? So what I would do to fix that is like, you're typically supposed to draw everything in cylinders before you refine them, which I have not stressed enough, and that's my fault. So you want to make sure that, like, say this is a cylinder, this part of your body here, if we're just focusing on the top half, then draw like a connecting one here, and for the first part of your arm, and then another one here, and like when you get that down and try to match the length of the cylinders on either arm, that's a pretty good way of being able to train your eye of seeing whether or not they are proportional or, you know, plausibly the same. Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't draw some very wonky stuff from time to time. But that's because practice is important, right? So yeah, I think you did a good job. I also love the hat, and the glasses is a nice touch. I love a man in glasses. So yeah. Anyone else want to give it a try and show us what you got?
I'll show mine. It kind of looks like a nightmare character from one of the Barbie movies.
I love those Barbie movies. No, but I really love the way you handled the face. And I can't see the nose very well, but it looks as though you've treated it very nicely.
Yeah, I don't get how
There you
noses
go.
look when I really think about it.
But that's also okay because sometimes people's noses are like invisible from a distance. So, and your character looks like it's from a considerable distance. So that's also okay. And I do love the pose. I love the arms. And again, with the 5 head rule, your character seems to be operating with that 6 heads rule pretty nicely. I do wonder if maybe the legs are a little on the shorter side, but then again, that's kind of that might be just a personal bias on my part as far as style goes. So I really like it. I think maybe the arm, the elbow is a little too low. I feel like
This one?
the one that where the hand is showing.
Okay.
Because typically, I remember reading a How to Draw Disney Princess book, and they use Jasmine as an example of like your shoulders should fall roughly where your waist is. And that being said, the fabric that you're working with, that you're rendering, looks like it's hanging. So it could just be a non-issue, but it is something to keep in mind for next time.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like limbs are really hard to draw. I think everything is hard to draw, but also shoes. I don't. How do people do
Probably
that?
tell, but I still have difficulty drawing shoes.
Shoes are hard. I also can't do shoes.
Because they upturn in a weird way that feet don't. And it's like, oh man, how do I do this? But reference is always a key. Osa, do you want to present? Oh, I like that. I like that character. I love the accessory, the backpack. My God, you were like you were talking down your own skills, and I'm actually really impressed. The only thing that I could critique is, again, maybe the front of the limbs are a little too short. And maybe, like I just said, making the shoes more upturned. But what you can do is you can do like a flat grid, like draw a horizon line and then work with a grid, like horizontal and vertical, to get the plane of your feet, of where the feet are supposed to exist in the world.
Great thought. I have to say, this was really, I mean, helpful to give the step-by-step. Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, I can see the shoes need to be like.
Is that everyone?
I think
think
so.
so.
I don't want to forget anyone like last time.
I know sometimes. No, we got everybody.
Okay. It is 7:54. Do we like there's a lot less steps and it's a lot less involved to do the animal version. Do we want to try doing that, Osa, still?
It's up to you, boss.
Yeah, do that.
All right, I'll share
Let's
my
do it.
screen. Let's do it.
Some of you might be a little bit you might be a little tired. You know, you did a lot. It's okay to feel a little tired, which is why this is going to be easy for you. Because this is a lot less involved, and also, like I said, animals are just kind of inherently easier to draw, especially because you can get away with distorting proportions more for the sake of cartooning. So why don't we start with step 1. Turn the page over, get a new one if you'd like. If seeing your other drawing on the back doesn't distract you, I know it distracts me. I feel bad about wasting paper, but you know, do whatever makes you feel comfortable. So you can still draw a line of action here. It's going to be a little different because the character you're working with may be on all fours, but then sometimes not. But you want to work, I think, especially if you're drawing a character with a lot of fur, working mostly in ovals and cylinders and, you know, round shapes. Think round. And worry about like structural shapes like rectangles for like limbs or snouts. I remember a art book I had on how to draw the characters in Brother Bear, which is a Disney movie from like when I was 5 years old. They compared little Coda, little bear cub, to looking like a bag of flour when he sits because of the way it's big down here at the bottom and then tapers up as it goes up. So think of general shapes that would characterize a character that might act the way that you think a fox would act, a dog would act, etc. And yes, this is a capybara. Quite unconventional of an animal choice, but hey, we have a Mexican man. We need to have a Mexican animal to fuse him with. And I only mention that because a lot of art discourse usually requires that if you're going to draw an animal, particularly like if you're trying to humanize like a Disney character that's an animal, it's appropriate to like draw them appropriate to the race they would realistically be. Like Simba and Nala would obviously be African Americans or African people, right? You probably wouldn't draw them as Caucasian. That's the only reason why I bring that up. Let me know when you're ready to move on. is everyone ready to move on to step 2?
I believe so.
Okay. So if you haven't already, it's a good time to like connect your shapes together, like give them like almost like a skin to wrap all of the shapes into, excuse me, depending on what animal or species you're working with. And for animals, the facial expression will probably be less intense or even more intense, depending on what you want to do. So try that and see where it goes. Is anyone ready to move on at this point?
Sure, I am.
If you're not, that's also okay too.
Sky, just time check 8:07.
Okay. Okay, we can move on to number 3 unless anyone has any objections. Now, this is going to be a really easy step. You can just finalize your line work, but in some cases you might want to add like any fur pattern, like for a fox or for a dog or anything like that. Like sometimes you can just like slightly shade certain areas of the pelt to give it more of variety. And again, darken the line that you want to keep and erase any that you think are not necessary. We got a real life example here. Like this one has a pretty interesting pelt design, huh? He's so brown and white. Also, add whiskers if you'd like. Also, believe it or not, dogs have whiskers. Most cartoons usually omit that with dogs. Probably to differentiate them from cats. Amanda, do you mind my asking what part of animals is harder for you than humans?
I just don't understand how they stand. Like I can't picture like if they're facing this way or this, like it just doesn't it's harder for it to click with me. Or
Okay.
like, I don't know, I can't explain it, but I feel like I understand like humans a little bit more.
Right.
Or I look at them more often.
That's true. What animal are you working with, might I ask?
I was trying to make a hippo, but it does not look at all like a hippo. So
Hippo's fun. So I can't wait
yeah,
to see it.
well, we'll see. The face looks easy, and then it's like not as easy as I thought. So
Time check, it's 8:12.
Okay. And as I should have said this before, but if you needed to look up on your phone what like a hippo looks like or something, you can do that. But I'm sure some of you have already started doing that.
Oh yeah. I always have to look it up.
Do you want me to go ahead, Sky?
Yes.
Oh, this is for the color, yeah.
Yeah, you can continue on with the third step. And if you have coloring utensils or if you want to shade, you can also do that while we wait.
You should probably start with feedback, Sky, just to give enough time.
Yeah. We'll just do feedback and closing statements. And I guess we can do this now. If you want to do the third part of the assignment, write your email in the chat. I will screenshot it and I will send you the third part.
Mine looks terrible. A warning.
Same.
I tried to color it and my crayons are really bad. And it somehow got worse. So
I mean, hey, maybe I misjudged. Oh, animals are easy, and everyone's being like, no, it's
I
not.
think they're really hard.
well, I have no artistic talent, so that's part of it.
Oh, will you stop, Camila? That's not
Untrue.
It is true.
No. That needs to be the rules of the class, right? You cannot make derogatory statements about self.
No negative self.
It's my creative writing class in high school. She told us no disclaimers, meaning like disclaimers to be like, fair warning, it sucks.
Oh, that's
Like,
smart.
Mhm.
That's a really positive way, I think, too, to encourage students to just talk about their work in a natural way rather than a negative way.
right, because you're so worried about like, oh, if I diss it, then no one else can diss it. Haha.
Yeah.
Because
That is true.
you're trying to foster an environment where no one does, so you kind of just, want to make that out of the equation. Does anyone want to share first? I think I have a email I'm gonna get.
I don't even know what this is, but it's
Oh, it's so cute.
You're embarrassed of that? I was
That's
in-
adorable.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
I can't tell
love
if I
it.
was going for a mouse or a bunny or a hybrid. I don't know.
I mean, it could be hybrid. Like the third assignment is basically about a hybrid, just not in a conventional sense. But no, this is cute. I love the face. I love the nose you got. The only thing that I have to critique is that like if the form you're trying to go for had not been achieved, just try again. But also try to make sure that the feet are like they're evil. They're on even ground, even level ground. I think you're doing that great. But I think next time make sure that I mean they could be tilted forward if that's what you're going for. Make sure that they're like straight down and
Okay.
like they clearly exist on the same plane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can use like the grid, the perspective. You can draw a perspective grid with a ruler. The internet will tell you all about it, and it will help you map things out pretty nicely.
Awesome. Thank you, Sky.
Welcome. I'm so happy to see your work.
I tried. I'll go next. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wow, that's so good.
I was trying to come back from the finger thing, so I tried again.
I mean,
Huge.
I liked it.
Oh,
Mr.
that's awesome.
Donkey Kong, right? Or
Yeah.
okay. I don't know my Mario character that well, but considering I recognized it instantly, like that's a pretty good job. That's really impressive. The only thing that I can see, I mean, it's tilted at a weird angle, so I can't really see it like truthfully. But I would like make sure that like the fingers are the right proportion. Like I think the thumb that is curled at the end might be a little thinner at the top where it should be thicker, and thicker at the bottom where it should be thinner. Because like I'm trying to see if I can do it, but like it's a perspective thing in the camera. Like you want to make sure that the perspective is good. I feel like that's giving me a slight bit optical illusion, but it's a nitpick as far as that go. I really do love the feet at the bottom and the way that they're obviously like tiptoeing with each other. Like it's showing very visible signs of like movement, indicating that in a single frame, which is not easy. So good for you. But yeah, really good drawing overall.
Thank you.
I love your work, Avion. Like this girl also was in a gallery that Amanda and I helped curate.
There's no guidelines to what you can do.
Yeah.
Like can be longer than the other. It's still acceptable.
All right, I'll go next. I'm having a real hard time with the mouth, but
I'm sorry, I'm trying to big screen you.
There we go. Ooh, very nice.
Well, that's not bad. That's actually really good. Like you have like a nice sketchy children's book quality about it. I like
yeah.
it. I think it's really good. I think the face might need more defining, but then like if that's what it's clearly like operating on a type of style, so it's still really good. And I love what you did with the legs. Like it isn't just fluff at the bottom, the torso. It's like gathers toward the top of the leg, like the thigh. That's really insightful, and I really like that. And I do like the hooves you gave them. I think maybe they could be a little flatter at the very bottom so they can stand. And I think like the frontward facing hooves could probably be more defined. But other than that, like you really managed to get texture and weight and depth to the drawing. So you were underselling it, and I'm like, wow.
Oh, that was fun. This is quite fun, I have to admit.
It is fun.
I
All
agree.
right,
It is like a character I've seen before.
All right. So mine kind of looks a little like a chubby sheep, but it's supposed to be a hippo. Wait a second. There we go.
Oh,
It's supposed to be a baby hippo, but I couldn't get the face quite down, and I tried to do the rolls, the fat rolls.
Right.
that's awesome.
Fat rolls.
That's what the hippos are known for.
Yeah.
No. I think what will help you with the face, though,
Mhm.
and I know you're supposed to take from life, and you should, but you should also take from like other cartoons to see what they have caricatured too. Because if you've seen like Fantasia, like the original Fantasia,
True.
the snout seems to be made of like two like melons almost. Like it's very round heavy, and then it's also round here. So again, like really utilize big shapes, big circles. Like that will really pull everything together. So yeah, honestly, the only way you can improve is to do it again and again if you want to. But even as is, you guys are pretty damn good. It seems as though you guys have basically accomplished what you set out to do. So who wants to go next?
I can go. I drew a cat, and I colored him in really fast, so it does. Oh.
Oh,
Never failed to support. Oh my
adorable.
God, I love it.
That's
I love cats.
adorable.
Oh, what did you use to color? That looks so good.
Oh, it's a Procreate. It's on my iPad.
Oh, it's on your iPad. Oh, okay.
I know. If
Okay.
that were like
I
an
can tell.
crayons, it would be like, man, you're really good at doing it smoothly. That's a powerful crayon. But yeah, like you really put a life in that character. Let me see it again.
Oh yeah, hold on. iPad shut off. Here we go.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think what could help is maybe like you could show like a little indication of the other leg, and also the arm closest to the leg. Technically, they're both legs. I think it could really improve with like maybe a little bit of a curve, a little bit, just to make it slightly more dynamic, because everything else is so curved, and that's like more like straight angle. So I think like making it a curve would make it more like draw the eye to like the center and not like veer you off course. But that's a very small thing to change.
All right, Sky. We're coming in for a landing.
My God, you guys are awesome.